Forgot my drink. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, it's starting to get chilly out here in New York. Turn that up. And even though it shows glare in my glasses, now you can see yourself, or I can see myself like that. Isn't that creepy? What do we got? Where Ben at? Well, the thing only allows me to choose on the big hand of the hour, so I can either choose 7 or 8, and that's why I let everybody know 7:30. And I need to hear your sweet voice there. I can assure you, there's nothing sweet about his voice. It was really weird, so I still have a bit of that cold. Not too bad though. A cough every now and again. But all last week, I could, I re-listened to some of the live stream from last week, and yeah, you can tell I'm plugged up and all that stuff. But like the mic gives me a lisp, which is weird because I don't think I have a lisp, but it sounds it through the mic. It's very strange. Maybe I mean, nobody's ever really said I have a lisp. I'm conscious of it. Super savage. I'm a fan of like Chris Bumstead. So I'm into a lot of things, bodybuilding. I like to follow it, and the Olympia is this week or weekend. It's everybody's weighing in and everything. Uh, yeah, it's weird. I don't think I have a lisp, but apparently I do. I could do ASMR. Is this better? Too loud? It's very strange. I've noticed that before on other people too. I think so. I follow Dancy. Whoa, what was it with that? There's like a shadow of something going on there. It's maybe if I turn my brightness down. Anyway, I follow hello Dancy bearded guy. Has he's cooking on 100,000 subscribers. And sometimes when he's using his phone as a live stream device and not his camera and everything, it seems like he has a lisp. So maybe it's not me per se or my mic. Maybe it's just in general. Could be. So hello to everybody who's in here already. Rear tire question. I have a low cross cart. Should I have my left rear tire be on the one closer to left rear tire be the one closer to the left rear bearing and the right further out, or vice versa? I usually use I leave my right rear alone. If I'm going to make an adjustment, I make it on the left rear. The this has there's a split effect here. If you move your left rear hub out on the axle, it will help the cart turn in the center of the corner, but you give up exit speed. The closer your track width is. My cart's right here. Opens right here. We'll take a peek. For instance, this is my open, so I want max drive off. And my right rear is the same. So track width, again, is from this point of your tread to this point of your tread. The closer together those are, the better your drive off will be. But if by scooting this entire tire out from this rail, you will help it rotate in the center. But you give it for every karting is a very yin yangy thing. What is with that? There's like a halo. It's very odd. It's not off my glasses. It's very strange. There's something going on my screen. I'll just pretend like it's not there. But yes, for it's not always the case, but usually when you gain something on the chassis, on tires, you lose something else. So if you're gaining center turn by moving that left rear out a little bit, you're losing drive off, because the wider your rear axle is to your front axle, your front end, the less drive off you have. So yeah. Yo, what's going on? So I'll bring this up real quick. I like to joke with my wife. She knows I'm an extremely sarcastic person. We've been together for almost 30 years now, so she knows this all too well about me. But I say that I am, I'm, I'm way too popular to be in the house now because my one video that I have no idea how it happened. Last week we were talking. I was at 700,000 views on that one video that I don't understand how it did what it's doing. It is now at 1.3 million, 1.3 million views. Couldn't 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 do it again if I tried. No idea how that happened. I arguably made two videos since then that I thought were cooler. But I don't know if it's hitting like an ASMR type of thing, if it's what the deal is. But 1.3 million people have viewed that video. I'm sure only for a little bit. Uh, you know, People aren't going to sit there and watch. It's only 30 seconds long, but it's just so weird, so weird. Hey, buddy, watching from Coldwater. Nice, cool. 'Cause I bet you it's not as cold as up here. New York is apparently tomorrow supposed to be back up into the 70s, but I can tell you we're fighting to keep our heat off. My wife, matter of fact, as I was walking out here, she's just like, "Hey, we got the furnace filter. Maybe after you're done with the live stream, you could put the furnace filter in just in case we have to turn on the heat because it's gotten that cold in the house." I have a very well insulated house. The problem is when the cold gets in there, it stays in there for a little bit. It's great during the summer because it will retain the coolness. But in the winter, it has the exact opposite. But yes, constantly loose in the center. Wow, that's usually you hear the opposite of that. Usually it's trying to get a tight center, which is usually what I'm dealing with, out of it. Um, in general, loose center, maybe too much rear stagger. You can make an adjustment there. If that left rear, like I just showed you, if that is out too far, I would nestle that into the frame rail. Even your right rear, maybe bring that your track width as close as possible. See if that happens. You could also, in general, if you need to bring some tightness to the entire cart, instead of running a split on your air pressures, whatever air pressure you're running, say it's 4 and 5, 4 left, 5 right, even that out. You could also, if you wanted to, you could reverse that. But I rarely ever consider reversing the air pressure split. Usually, if I want to tighten up something, I would uh, just a smidge. I would go ahead and even up my air pressures all the way around. Pick your left side pressure or your right side pressure, and make them all the same. See if that happens. But yes, um, yeah, it's a low cross guard. Okay, yeah, that's in general. If it's a low cross cart, you can actually add cross and see how that behaves as well. But I would say if you're loose center, you're missing grip all over the place, or you have too much rear stagger. It just wants to turn too much. Or yeah, I would start there and see if that assists you a little bit. There's going to be no, just like do this and it'll cure all your ails. Karting is an experimentation. Like I said, it's a yin yang. If you make an adjustment on something, you're going to lose somewhere. Maybe not to the degree that would be terrible, but it's possible to, if you make one adjustment to correct for something, you're going to give up something else in return. It just always seems to be the case. You never have one adjustment fixes all ails type of thing. Uh, you're going to be highly unlikely. just a yuck from Western New York. uh, are you done for the season? One more for me. Saturday is the last race that I know that I'm doing. Unless I get a bug up my butt to do anything else. But the Northeast Divisional, Unlimited All Stars Divisional, is Saturday down at. Why am I drawing a blank? Is it Blanket Hill? Is that right? Anyway, track down in PA. I think it's Blake Hill, um, is the Northeast Divisional. There should be at least 10 of us showing up. The 5,000 to win race, I was considering doing it, but it was down in Ohio, and honestly, I brought up last week. I This is only the second time I'll be on my open all year, and I just that's a heck of a drive, almost 8 hours away from the house to take my stuff down and take the chance that I'm kind of going to be fast. There's a real possibility I don't make the A main if I go to a big race like that. So Northeast Divisional, even if I, go hang out with my friends, that's where I race is the Northeast. So I'll know everybody there, and I'll just go for fun and try and win. Obviously, every time we go to race, it's to win, but go and hang out with my friends. I change stuff on the open, and for good reason. So this is because I don't care. Nobody can drive my cart except for me. I did not scale my UAS cart before this season. I just kind of left it how it was. I took it out to AMS, performed badly, made some adjustments at track, made it a little bit better. And then I just decided, hey, before this, why don't we throw it on the scales? I wanted to, see where things are at. I want to change my cambers a little bit and see if there's something front end wise I can make happen. The thing had 70% cross in it. I didn't mean to do that. I don't even know how I did that. 70% cross up north is weird, to say the least. And so I reduced it. I got it back down. I it For perspective, I always ran when I ran a recon, a UAS recon, whatever. This is a scythe. This is a 21 scythe. I always ran anywhere from, we'll say, 61 to 64% cross up north here because of our low bite situation, the way the cart reacts, all that stuff. So 70 was just like whoa, I didn't even know how that was possible, but it's my own fault. It's That's what happens when it just because I try and help people do as I say, don't do as I do, because sometimes I'm lazy and sometimes I just this should be good. That's Everybody's done that, taking the cart should be good and without scaling it, and that's why I didn't handle worth a poop. um if I had to guess, that's a lot of cross for up here. It's a lot of cross up here, and I can't tell you exactly what it was doing that night. I got it better, but it was that might be a reason why it wasn't handling worth the crap. But yes, random stuff. Yeah. Uh, yes. Matter of fact, I was the video Sunday. Was it you that mentioned that before? I took a screenshot in the comments. If it was you, actually, after this, I was planning on talking about rim widths and staggers and stuff a little bit for Sunday's video because I have to get that done tonight. I am doing a family function tomorrow night, and then I got to leave by 10:30, 11 a.m. on Saturday. So I got everything about set. I just have to load, and that doesn't take me but half an hour to get stuff into the. I don't have much. I have a little trailer, so to get stuff into the trailer, so it's going to be no problem Saturday morning. But I'm going to run out of time to edit and stuff, so I have to get a video done tonight. My intended video was rim widths on a cart, and just because I have the open here, I can kind of walk around the cart and just point out what the basic rim widths are that we typically run, and then where I might adjust on stagger. Uh, Spoiler, right? If you're gonna right sides, I think is easier to inflate a tire with heat, put it out in the sun, torch, heat gun, whatever it needs to inflate a tire, unless it's a reaper. Reapers are a bugger no matter where you go. But in order to shrink a tire, it's a little more involved and a little less precise. You don't know where it's going to go if you heat the tire up with no air in it, and then you were to dunk it in an ice bath. You don't know where that shrink is going to go to. Whereas gen- generally, if you inflate your right rear, right front, your right side tire, quarter inch past where you want it to be, heat the crap out of it, do the shock, it's gonna be close. Oven, yep, oven. Any form of heat in order to make that tire expand, and then if you want to shock it or not shock it, just leave it. You can leave a whole bunch of air in it, and then it'll essentially do the same thing. But shocking the outside of the tire helps it set, so it doesn't move as much. But basically, a quarter inch past where you want it to be, heat the crap out of the tread, and then in ice bath, a dunk in cold water, whatever your means are in order to get that to set is a good idea. But I would right side tires, spoiler for the video on Sunday, and it's not like a huge deal. But if it was you, then yes, I screenshot it and I was just like, hey, that's a really good idea. Um, yeah, left sides are tough, dude. You're not kidding. Some of them, Burris are easily manipulated. They do not stay. Um, I'd say Reaper are extraordinarily hard to manipulate. If you can get them there, still jury's still out whether or not they stay. Maxis, I've never had a real problem sizing them. Vega yellows, never had a real problem sizing them. Um, but yes, who's the one? I use the oven. I either use the torch or the hot box. There's jury's still out. Should it is it a good idea to get your tire that hot with a torch? Everybody kind of does it, so technically you're destroying the tire, but I don't know. I also had somebody suggest, like, I always 140 degrees, 150 degrees, something like that in a hot box, getting tires up. They said get them up over 200. I'm like, uh I mean, you could. It would take your hot box forever to fricking get up there. I've always had good luck with anywhere from 120 to 150 in the hot box, but yes, and they will never see you. Burris or oh, these are my 33s. They actually stayed this last time. But then again, these are 2019, so they're a little stiffer. They don't have the SS11s that I ran on, that the video that I ground the tire with, that everybody freaked out over. They shrink like it's the right side shrink like it's their friggin' job. It doesn't matter. I have blown them up. I've heated them. I've set them. I've dunked them in ice water. I've done everything. And man, they typical burst. They bleed out air through the sidewall through the impression where it says SS11, and then you you go to check them like a week later, and they shrink right friggin' back down. And yeah, taking this weekend off. I've got some friends up from yeah. Prayers and everything to everybody in Florida. So we're being up north. It's just like, man, that Milton's crazy, and it looked like it hit well south of Tampa. Not saying that's a good thing, but everybody thought it was going to hit Tampa pretty bad, and there's this and that, and it's just like, man, I have boots on ground there. My dad's in Ocala, and my one best friend is in Daytona. So I was just like, hey guys, I know you're not on the West Coast there, but how are things going? And they said the winds are blowing. But my dad said that one of the horrible things was happening was tornadoes were popping up on the outer cell of Milton, and it had killed some people. So that's real damn shame. I hate to see that happen. People think they're safe because they're away from the West Coast and away from the eye of the thing, which is where all the majority of that is. But the outside cells were going crazy and causing lots of havoc too. So um, Florida, it's kind of stuck out there in the ocean. I'd love to live in Florida, but it's definitely something you gotta, they it's my son a long time ago, I said, hey, I'd love to live in Florida. He's like, oh, hurricanes. It's just like we're so used to snow up here that it's like it's just second nature. But we deal with 4 months of snow, and blizzards and driving in snow and the accidents it causes, and deer and the whole nine. It's just like when you're acclimated to bad things, you just kind of get used to it. And I think that's a lot of people in Florida. They rightfully so got out of the way of when a they know they're going to get landfall, they get out of the way of that and get up north away from that stuff. But in general, they're just like, it's Florida. There's hurricanes. Yep. It's crazy, man. But hey, what's going on? Oh, let's see what I'm yammering on here. Yes. Say yeah. You miss out on farmers as a bag of track. Yeah, I know. It's yep. Yeah, it's freaking 7.5 hours, and that's without stops. And it's just I don't trust myself. I don't. I put a piston in it before the beginning of the year. Ran Engine ran flawless. Everything looked good in the jug. Everything's it's fired up every single time. I did everything correctly. It's not that. It's set up. It's really that 70% cross is probably throwing me way off. I don't know how I got to that point. It might the last time I ran it though was at Hunterstown, and I think I put a bunch of cross into it at Hunterstown because it was gonna be a fast track, and I never changed anything, just tires. And for whatever reason, Uh, I didn't realize I had that much cross in the thing. I and I probably shouldn't have had that much even for Hunterstown. I probably should have taken some out. But then again, that my Hunterstown experience was terrible, just only because I kept on throwing chains, and I literally have changed nothing on that. I checked everything over. There's nothing loose. There's no bearings miss a foul, anything like that. I put a chain guard back on it. I don't like running them on the open because bad stuff can happen, so much horsepower and this and that. But I can't risk it anymore. I threw 3 chains at the Grand Nationals. I can't find a freaking thing out of line, and I don't understand. I ran it this spring. Nothing came off. Nothing happened. So it beats me, man. Very interested in a wheel and tire video coming up. We're running a drive. Not a lot of banking. I don't know how deep into it I'll get for you. I'll try my best. Um, there's not everything is so standard nowadays with wheel size and stuff. I would say there's room to experiment with stuff. Um, but when rim manufacturers, especially, they like for lefter, they 8.5. Uh, Standard left rear on modern go karts is an 8.5 inch rim or width rim. So there are some 8.75 if you're looking for more stagger. You're also gonna it's gonna change the dynamic of the shoulder of the tire though. So yes, there's different things that can come of it. But yes, it could be. I haven't been any wrecks or anything. That's everything. And then when I put it on the scale, like I put the camber gauge on it because I an adjustment I made on it at the track this spring. I knew that I had put a couple flats, tipped my right front down, and I knew that it needed adjustment. So I put my camber gauge on it, and I adjusted that back to where it was. Nothing was out of the ordinary. Matter of fact, my left front was right where it should be. I checked my staggers. Everything's fine. Everything's where it should be. I don't know. I spent the entire summer running the clone cart, so I had scaled that a bunch of times, and I just hadn't paid any mind to it. I don't know. I'm I also am a little bit heavier now than I once was last year. I'm a little bit heavier even than I was last year. I put on some weight, so yeah. Can use black sand too many times in a row across repeated race weekends. I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't go crazy with black sand. All right, so black sand straight. We're gonna go with the straight formula. The longer it sets, the more it's gonna take effect. The because it's I want to say there the chemical that makes it what it does is a little oilier, it takes a little bit longer to penetrate the surface. Now, does that mean you can't wipe it every single week? Absolutely not. You can wipe it every single week. You're just not getting all of the benefits that you would if the tire had at least a week to set. Um, that being said, what once you exceed two, maybe three coats of black sand, per week, if you wipe too many times, then you can tell that it'll start to get shiny. It no longer wants to penetrate the surface, and that's when you know you've gone too far. I don't ever go crazy, and then that's why cutting it with something works so well. Yes, you're reducing the effects of black sand because you're cutting it, but you're also helping the drying time. You're also limiting some of that oiliness that I have to do a video on that. Some people have whether it's an oil based prep or a prep with oils in it and a sandy track, and whether or not that hampers the tire. I have to put that in my noodle and do a video on it eventually. But I wouldn't say that there's any problem with running black sand week to week to week. I don't see any reason why I wouldn't do it. I just would say that if you're not getting a full run that week or whatever, I wouldn't go crazy on the wipes. Maybe try back off a little bit, or maybe try cutting it with something, Acrosol, quick dry, whatever, to reduce the effects a little bit and see how it behaves on the tire. If you're finding that the tires aren't behaving like they once were. Um, yeah, it was it was very weird, Tyler. I popped the chain twice coming onto the track. Like I wasn't barely even on the throttle. Like it practice, I was fine. One of the practice, I was fine. I came out for the next one, and popped the chain, and then put it back on. And I mean, when I went into the Grand Nationals, everything was brand new gear, brand new chain, aligned, everything I would teach anybody to do. I don't understand it. Came back, it threw the chain once. All right, put a brand new chain on. We're not doing that. Got through qualifying run, no problem. Ran B main, or no, I was gonna run the B main, pop the chain again. I don't get it. I don't, and then I've literally not changed anything. I took everything apart. I mean, I looked at it. I can't see any alignment issues. Nothing. It beats me, man. It's darndest thing if I have ever seen it. A lot of Indian white black sand at the track. That's not the proper use. You can, when you wipe straight black sand, though, uh, it's not getting all of the potential effects. It will do great. It will work great. It will do everything you're asking it to do. What I'm saying is, the longer. Also, do I have any here? Yeah, there's mint up there. Um, Pardon me. This is a very oily product, but one of the components that makes black sand work, from my knowledge, this is what I've always. Somebody told me, maybe it was Randy a long time ago, told me that the component that makes this work is like a lot more than what's in black sand. But it takes time to penetrate into the uh, into the surface. That's why people like to cut black sand with Acrosol. It helps the drying time. It does take away some of the effectiveness, but not really, because the effectiveness that you're looking for takes a little bit longer for it to penetrate the tire. If you get what I'm saying, you can continue that. There are people that swear by wiping this at track, and I would say it's a waste of product, but it works for them. So I'll never tell anybody to do anything that's working for them. If you want to wipe with straight black sand at the track, knock yourself out. It will work. Just there is more to the product if it has time to set and actually set into the tread than what you can get out of it at track. But if you cut it 50-50 with Acrosol or something thinner, nap the VMP, whatever that's called, track quick dry, any of these things, Ruby. If you have TrackTac, you can cut stuff with Ruby. Um, it will. It's a more the more solvent based stuff. It will help it dry. It takes away some of the effectiveness, but you wouldn't get that effectiveness that day anyway because it takes a little. Sorry about that, guys. Am I gone? Am I gone? Dude. Hi, guys. Are you still there? You hear my beautiful voice? Okay. I'm just not moving. Maybe it'll take a second here for it to. Can I change camera? Well, that's weird. Okay, voice only. So my that's one of my best friends that lives in Florida. Maybe it'll come back. Uh, he knows I go live on Thursdays, but I think that he may have forgotten that I was on here. I don't know. Yeah, this is bummer. There's no way to reboot it. This should switch my camera. Whoa. I'm looking for options, guys. I'm so sorry. Mm, no, cancel. Yeah, I got a weird looking mug on the. At least I wasn't doing anything weird, completely weird. I don't know what I would like to reboot this, but it doesn't seem to give me the option, guys. So I'm sorry. Da, 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 da. All right, let's see what happens here. No, that doesn't work. Um, I should probably have turned off, calls or whatever. But it is what it is. I think Wesley and I had the problem with this before when he'd get a call and then everything went sideways. I don't understand why it's like even my camera won't switch around. My you guys can't see what's going on. Uh, yeah, cut you. No, Jamie's fine. I'm sure he'd text me if something was wrong. That's usually he does. Um, Jamie just likes to chat. So, um, you know what? I'm gonna drop out here real quick. If you guys want to pop back in, I'll redo a stream. I'll go live again. And I'm sorry, but yeah, this is gonna drive me nuts. It's not that I need to see myself, but it's just really weird looking at myself staring. Uh, but yeah, I'll be right back, guys.